Margrethe II of Denmark, heir to Elizabeth's titles, her husband refused to be buried next to her and unfairly deposed her grandchildren. Disagreements afflict the family of the Danish Queen Margrethe II, and controversy within the royal and governmental circles in Denmark, as the Queen decided that 4 of her 8 grandchildren be stripped of their royal titles, and the princes are upset. Here is the story of the last European queen living with us today. Who is she? And what did she inherit from Elizabeth? And how did she threaten the throne of the Queen of British monarchs one day? 50 years on the throne. She is more than 80 years old, but she appears with full energy and vitality, and she has always competed with Elizabeth II in breaking records, as the two queens had many commonalities. Moreover, they had a long-term friendship, to the point of calling each other without titles. Margrethe is 14 years younger than Elizabeth, and has completed her 50 years on the Danish throne, to inherit the title of longest serving on the throne from her late counterpart, Elizabeth. Also, the two queens were always similar in elegance, good behavior, and discipline, and the rules of the two queens were similar in their palace. The rules of the Royal Amalienborg Palace in Copenhagen are not very different from the strict traditions of Buckingham Palace. Margrethe II, currently the only queen in the world, expressed her respect for Elizabeth, whom she considers her role model and has learned a lot from her in matters of governance and family management, following the advice of her parents to her since she was young, when they told her, "Look what they are doing in England." It is the advice that Margrethe followed throughout her life, to the extent that her relationship with the Queen of England reached the point of calling each other by private names, as Elizabeth was calling Margrethe by the nickname of Daisy, while Margrethe was calling Elizabeth by the nickname of Lilibet, which indicates the depth of their relationship. The last Queen of Europe. In 1972, Margrethe was crowned Queen of Denmark after the death of her father, King Frederik IX, and she was 31 years old at the time, the first woman to hold the title of Queen of Denmark in the modern era. She was a distinguished woman, speaking 5 languages, French, Swedish, English, and German, in addition to her mother tongue. She is called Margrethe II because Margrethe I ruled Denmark between 1375 and 1412. The beginning of her rule witnessed many problems, as only 45% of Danes supported the monarchy in Denmark, but statistics now indicate that this percentage has increased, and that Margrethe's popularity is increasing, especially after her son married a girl from the common people. Recent opinion polls have indicated that Margrethe's kingdom is the most popular in the world at the present time, and her support rate has increased from 45% to 80%, almost doubling. Unique achievements. Margrethe was born in Copenhagen on April 16, 1940, just a week after Germany invaded Denmark, and is the eldest of 3 sisters. At her birth, Danish law did not allow women to ascend the throne, but a referendum in 1953 changed this law, under pressure from the Danish government at the time, allowing the young Margrethe to take the throne of Denmark. The princess had completed her studies in philosophy at the University of Copenhagen, then studied archaeology at Cambridge University, studied civics at Aarhus and the Sorbonne, and studied economics at Land School. After ascending to the throne of Denmark, she proved her worth for the position. As Danish historian Lars Sørensen says about her, Margrethe succeeded in being queen and united the Danish nation in a period of great changes, globalization, the emergence of the multicultural state, economic crises in the 70s and 80s, and again in the period from 2008 to 2015 and the epidemic. As for the secret of her success, Lars said that the basis of her popularity is that the Queen is completely apolitical, as Margrethe was able to maintain the monarchy and prevent its status from being diminished. Although she lost her husband in 2018, she always emphasized her continuity in rule, and that she would not abandon her duties. She would declare this on every occasion, saying, "I will stay on the throne until I fall." Her husband refused to be buried next to her. In 1965, Margrethe met her husband, Henri de la Borde de Montpezat, a French-born, who was working at the time at the French embassy in London. After marrying her in 1967, he was given the title of Prince Husband of the Queen, and he always expressed his displeasure at not being given the title of King. Although they always seemed to be in good acquaintance with each other, the Frenchman was not able to win the love of the Danes, who mocked his announcement of his withdrawal from public life permanently in early 2016, when he announced his retirement as a prince and his voluntary abandonment of his title and official duties. He spent most of his life, until his death in 2018, on his private farm in France. In 2017, the prince surprised everyone by announcing his refusal to be buried in the Queen's tomb, and that he did not wish to be buried next to her, a decision that Margrethe respected and agreed to. Although he refused to be buried next to his wife in the royal tomb at Roskilde Cathedral, as is the custom for royal couples, the prince was buried in Denmark. Known for her love of fun and her constant participation in the Danish cultural scene, Margrethe is also a painter and costume designer, and has worked with the Royal Danish Ballet and the Royal Theatre on several important occasions. Queen Margrethe has only 2 sons, Frederik, heir to the throne, who will be called King Frederik X of Denmark when he takes the throne after his mother. He is the 6th member of the Glucksborg family and has 4 children. As for the Queen's youngest son, he is Prince Joachim, a reserve commander of the Royal Guard and a graduate of the Agricultural Academy. He also has 4 sons, Prince Nikolai, 23 years old, Prince Felix, 20 years old, Prince Henry, 13 years old, and Princess Athena, 12 years old. They are the ones who were included in Queen Margaret's recent decision to deprive them of their titles as princes and princesses as of January 1, 2023. It is a royal decision that surprised the Danes, the world, and the princes themselves, and left confusion and questions about the existence of differences within the Danish royal family.